Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and a very warm welcome to you all on this Monday evening, following what I can only say has been a pretty busy weekend. While I'm waiting for the guys to join, please don't forget to ask your smart speaker to play the latest Red and Blue Review podcast. The podcast from tonight's show will be up very shortly after we go off air. You can find us all over our Facebook pages, our Twitter pages, and of course our YouTube channel, where we would love you to go on there and hit the bell, like and subscribe. I'm sure somewhere there's also going to be a QR code for you that'll take you straight to our website, www.redandbluereview.co.uk, and you can watch this and every other podcast that we've ever put out, including the one that we really enjoyed doing last week with Steve Coppell. The Steve Coppell interview is available for you all to watch. If you haven't seen it, jump on there and let's say good evening to the team, because we are one member missing at the moment. We'll come on to that in a minute. Welcome back from his holiday, Mr. Olioke. You all right, mate?
Yeah, mate. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lovely couple of weeks away, away from just everything stressy in this country to a place where everyone walks around saying no stress, and it really wasn't. But thanks for welcome back.
I'm disappointed there's no sunset now. I know I don't want to see any white bits either. So. Mr. Noble, did you enjoy your last Sunday? Not yesterday, the Sunday before.
I'm still getting over it, mate. Meeting Steve Coppell. Yeah, good evening, Nick. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, it was fantastic to be in the same room as Steve Coppell last week. Yeah, I'm sure most people that are watching tonight will have seen the interview, either live or recording of it. It was brilliant and yeah, really good, fantastic. And yeah, good to be back tonight.
And also welcome back again, once again, Tim Richards. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you. Hello, everyone.
Acclimatising to life back in the UK?
No comment. Yeah, all good.
So coming up with the show this evening, we are still hoping that John Solarco is going to be joining us live. He's got the link. He knows we were on air, so Ian just messaged him again, but he hasn't shown up yet. So I'm hoping he will be joining us very shortly. If he doesn't, there's plenty to talk about, because we've had what I can only describe as a cracking week, because obviously we're going to be going back talking about we haven't spoken about the Man City game, and obviously we're going to be talking in great detail about yesterday. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, this first segment, the boys have no idea what I'm doing here, so I'm just going to ramble on for the next couple of minutes. And I want you to put good evening to everybody in the chat. Ian and Joe, I'll get you to say hello to the guys in the chat in a minute. But before we get into everything, I've written something this evening. I want you to just give us your attention for a second and think about people less fortunate than yourselves. I've highlighted this. I've called this the eulogy to Brighton's season. So while you all woke up this morning either nursing sore heads or just pinching yourselves in the knowledge of another trip to Wembley for the mighty Crystal Palace, please spare a thought for our poor friends down at the seaside. They've woken up today, again being disappointed that Reading, Hartlepool, Stoke, and now the mighty Everton couldn't do what they've been praying for and knocking us out the cup. Those poor little sausages have all had to go to work or school today thinking about their biggest rivals in yet another showcase semi-final. From here on in, it really doesn't matter what the result is against Chelsea in the semi-final, because we will be the underdog, okay? We were obviously the favourites in most of those games, probably including yesterday, but we will be the underdog, so it doesn't matter. Yes, it would be lovely to go to the final. Yeah, it would be lovely to win the cup, but it doesn't really matter, okay? It doesn't matter, because I know they are hurting, and they are hurting really badly. As for them, well, they've been above us for most of this season, gloating on all the message boards that this is the year that they're going to finish above us. Sadly, it's not the case. I've done some research, and as you can see on screen, about their running, and it doesn't make for very good reading. Norwich at home, possibly they will get a result, but Norwich are battling for their lives. Then we've got to play, listen to this lot, Arsenal away, Spurs away, Man City away, Southampton at home, Wolves away. Oh, their fixtures are awful. Then finishing up, they've still got to play Man United at home, Leeds away, and West Ham home. So 4 home and 5 away fixtures against some of the biggest clubs. Ladies and gentlemen, they're doomed. If the bottom three weren't already sorted out, they are in absolute free fall. And not only are we going to celebrate yesterday's fantastic win at Selhurst Park and a fantastic afternoon for everybody involved, okay, we're also going to gloat on the fact that Brighton are in free fall. Good evening, boys. Sorry about that. Just indulge me. I just had to get into that. It's something that's been on my mind all day today, and I've been laughing at Brighton. So they're only one place below us at the moment. Yeah, is that right, Ian?
They're 1 point behind us, I think. Yeah, but a few places. I'm not sure. Don't look at the league table that much because we weren't playing in the league this weekend, but I can if you want.
Yeah, just
yeah, they are. Brighton are 1 place below us. Yeah, 13th, we're 12th. So
yeah, because we dropped a place yesterday.
It's effectively 2 points because their goal difference is 11 worse off. So
thank you, Jill. Could you say some of those, mate, please?
Yeah, so Real Panny, Mark Callaghan, Aaron from Down Under, evening mate, Jason Cadle. I still keep an eye on some of the stuff. His Twitter following is getting bigger and bigger. Jace, evening. Lee Clark, Claire Davis, John Knox. Hope John gets back onto social media again soon. I've not seen him about much. Paul Holden, Facebook user. Can't say hello to you. I don't know who you are. Please send. So I'd say he said, nice tan gel. And I'm sitting right underneath a light here, so it's shining off the barnet, but it is a little bit of colour there. Georgia Wagwood, Colin Squires, Wendy Richards, Andy Stacey, Tony Carter. There's a new name. I've never seen Tony up there before. Gareth Thorndale, Paul Grube, our own Lucy Usher up there again. So yeah, good evening everyone. Simon Philpott, Paul Glance in Spain. So yeah, there's a fair few of you spread throughout the world. If you are not in the UK, tell us where you are and we'll give you a bit of a shout out. And then Mark says Brighton might get into Europe if they get conscripted. It's an old gag. I use it. I always use it, but yeah, very good.
Or if they write a song. That's the other one.
Do we still do Eurovision though, even though we're not in Europe anymore?
Yeah, we do. Australia in Eurovision Song Contest. So
how does that work?
We can be. Don't know. No idea. Put your money on Ukraine winning the Eurovision this year. That's the other thing. Yeah, everyone will vote for him, won't they? That's the thought. That's I want to make this comment. Mark Callaghan says John's at Kemba's bar. I can listen, guys. If you tuned in tonight expecting to see John Salako, I can but apologise. I spoke to him the other day. I messages from him saying he was going to join. He thought the show was last night originally, even though I told him it was Monday. So he might have something else on. So he does know where to find us. But if he doesn't join us, we'll still have a good show, won't we, Nick?
Indeed. And Dawn Palace, good evening. Nice to see you out there, my lovey. Listen, we'll do the Everton game second, but I've got to say before we move on to the Man City and just touch over the Man City game. What a day, Jill. I mean, I know you're working, and as Lucy says, we've got Super Pat Vieira. How did he come across on TV, Jill? Because I haven't seen it back. Yeah,
the Everton or the City
Everton,
game.
Everton,
I mean,
Everton,
both of them were both. Well, yeah, but I mean, the Man City game as well. The atmosphere was fantastic. But I mean, listen, the fans are always going to sing anyway. Our fans are renowned for it, win, lose or draw. But when things are going really, really well, it does sound louder. The atmosphere is always electric. But yeah, yesterday sounded amazing. But then most of it, if it's going okay, it almost always does.
Yeah, indeed. Right, a bit of news from around Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace's trip to Leicester City has been rearranged due to the latter's participation in the next round of UEFA Conference League. The Eagles match at the King Power Stadium will now take place on Sunday, the 10th of April at 2:00 in the afternoon. Leicester will play their Conference League tie on the preceding Thursday. We won't worry about the rest of that because we've got much bigger news. Nigel, can you please pop that slide up of our international players? I've been watching Palace for so many years and I have never seen the collection of individuals now representing the country. And before he does that, I'm just going to let you know, there's your list. So you've got Gallagher, Elise, Benteke, Ayew, Zaha, Gehi, Joachim Andersen. But are you aware, and Checo Kouassi, of course, are you aware that for the England upcoming friendly internationals, Crystal Palace Football Club have got more players representing England than Manchester United? So Joachim Andersen is playing for Denmark. They're playing on the 26th and 29th. Jordan Ayew is playing for Ghana on the 25th and 29th. Connor, Mark, and of course, Tyreek Mitchell now. I'm so delighted about that. 26th and 29th against Switzerland and Ivory Coast, respectively. Checo Kouassi is playing Egypt twice on the 25th and 29th. Michael Olise has chosen to represent England as a French under-21s. It's a shame that he hasn't stayed. And I think, Ian, am I right in saying that even if he represents France under-21s, he can still be chosen for England?
Absolutely, yeah. You can play friendlies for the full side, the senior side, as Wilf did twice for England, and then still go on and play competitively for another nation. So just because Michael Olise has chosen the French under-21 side on this occasion doesn't mean to say he's committing his whole international future to France. Having said that, I think he's pretty close to Patrick Vieira, and I think Patrick Vieira will have some influence over him choosing France. For some reason, I don't know why, it just feels like France would be a better fit for him. If you think about the players he'd be up against at the moment, your Fodens, your Sakkos for England, he's got a lot of competition for England. He's probably got less competition in France, I would suggest.
I think your point about Patrick Vieira's influence is well made as well. Wilfried Zaha for the Ivory Coast is playing on the 25th and the 29th. And the best news of all came out. And I think a lot of us were expecting it to happen. There's been lots of talk about it in the press over the last 48 hours, is Tyreek Mitchell. Tyreek Mitchell and Southampton's Kyle Walker-Peters have been called into the England senior squad for the first time, following a number of withdrawals from Gareth's squad. Mitchell and Walker-Peters will be joined by West Brom goalkeeper Sam Johnson and Aston Villa forward Ollie Watkins after the withdrawal of Ramsdale, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Reece James and Tammy Abraham through injury. On behalf of Red and Blue Review, mightily proud as a club, confirmed, but for the youngsters, it's just great for us. So where should we go? What should we do next? I mean, Jill, your thoughts on the enormous amount of people we've got representing different countries around the world? Ever in your lifetime?
Yeah. Probably not, to be honest with you. No. I mean, it's exciting times, and the longer we stay in the Premier League, the more that they will be recognised by their countries. I mean, it took Wilf quite a long time when he decided, he wanted a switch, but yeah, it's exciting. I mean, the only thing is that you risk losing. We've never really been exposed to the risk of losing a player during an international match. If they're being called up for big teams, then they just go hard or go home. So yeah, but it's exciting times, and we have discussed especially in the last few months, that we are a team on the up, and just being where we are in the Premier League will get our players recognised. So it's exciting times for them, exciting times for us, and it'd just be nice to be represented when you turn the telly on if you watch international football and see some of our players. It's very exciting.
Tim, we're victims of our own success, really. You're not worried about anything with all the players going away on international duty, though?
I don't think we can complain. I mean, for seasons and years, we've been on about wanting our club to get to that level where we do have that quality of player. Now we have, bring it on. I mean, it does nothing but get the club out there to people who wouldn't necessarily know about the club. It's advertising for the club. You see these players. I think it's brilliant.
Good stuff. Right, we'll move on, boys. We'll move on to the Man City game. So we lined up with Guaita, Klein, Anderson, Gehi, Mitchell, Gallagher, Kouassi, Schlupp, Olise, Mateta and Zaha. Crystal Palace missed their Man City missed their chance to go 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League as they were held by a resilient Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park under the lights. City dominated proceedings, twice hitting the woodwork with defender Emerick Laporte, but failed to find the net with a goal at his mercy in the first half. That was a sitter. The result means Liverpool can cut City's lead to 1 point by beating Arsenal on the Wednesday, and in front of a boisterous crowd at Selhurst Park, which is what I want to cover in a second, boys. Palace frustrated their opponents, although created very little themselves going forward. A point keeps them in 11th, as we were at the time, and boosted their hopes of a top half finish. Patrick Vieira's team were happy to sit back at Selhurst Park and had a number of half chances on the break through Wilfried Zaha, Elise, and in the first half, Conor Gallagher. Coming into this fixture, the host had only picked up 1 point from a possible 12 across their 4 home games in their fixtures in 2022. And didn't I tweet out a stat, Ian, something about, obviously we're taking 4 points of Man City this season. Something along the lines of, we were the only team to have not conceded a goal against Man City other than Man United last year.
That's right. Certainly this season, we're the only side not to have conceded against Man City. And last season, Manchester United kept 2 clean sheets against City in the league. So it doesn't happen very often. A bit like hen's teeth. So, yeah. Nick, I know you started the Man City introduction, but can I just make a few other points about the international scene?
Okay,
yeah, Paul Holden says Butland deserves a call-up. And I was talking to someone yesterday during the game about this, that Pickford's up the other end, supposedly England's number 1. Yes, he made some good saves, but he let in 4 goals after all. And, I'm surprised that Sam Johnston at West Brom, who are mid-table in the Championship, gets a call-up ahead of Butland, to be honest. It's not like he's not played any football at all. He's played half a dozen games at least. He's our cup goalkeeper. Yes, he's second to Guaita, but I think Butland does deserve that call-up again. His confidence is back, and he must be knocking on the door because we're not blessed with good goalkeepers for England, for sure. Lee Lockwood makes a great point as well. Wilf will be the first player to play for and against England. What a mad stat that is. So Wilfried Zaha, he'll play against England for the Ivory Coast next weekend. And, of course, he's played twice in friendlies. And I just want to make the point, going back to the number of players that are on international duty for England and other countries this time round. It's brilliant, of course. But there are similarities with sort of the era of 1990s, late 80s. Ian Wright, Andy Gray, Jeff Thomas, John Solarco, they all represented their country and there was a collective there. So we have been there before. But I think probably because of the global nature of the game and we've got so many foreign stars playing for us, then we probably haven't had quite so many full internationals from around the world as we have today. So, yeah, I just want to make those points about international appearances, if I may. Thank you.
Excuse me a minute. Carry on.
All right, okay. So do you want me to talk about, I'll talk about the Man City game now then. Let's come on to Man City. Jill, you watched it on TV. Give us your thoughts about the first half or the game as a whole against City.
My apologies.
Well, obviously I was 3,000 miles away. So, but I was sitting with a City fan, and I said, look, under no illusions that you should win this game. I said, the only person I don't want to score, I don't want Mahrez to score against us. I just, for some reason, I just don't rate Mahrez, even though I don't know what he's got now, 18, 20 goals this season. I never have rated him. He is by quite a long way. But yeah, listen, it's Man City. You know that they're going to have the ball more. They're going to create the better chances, more chances. They do it to a lot better teams than us. In European football too. So. But yeah, it was just much of a muchness for me. And to be honest with you, apart from the open goal that Laporte missed, it was half chance. I thought that was half chance. The very, very good save from Guaita, from Kevin De Bruyne, that right foot flick with the ball that went over the top. I don't even know how he managed to get his arm up that quickly. It was a definite. It was people were saying, our goalkeeper weren't man of the match. But to be honest with you, he made a similar save in the second half where he was going the other way, stuck his arm up, flicked it over the bar when it was going in the top corner again. So, I thought they were by far the better team. And if we'd have gone in, we had half chances, they had proper chances. And if they'd have gone in 1-0, 2-0, I don't think we really could have complained.
No, sure.
But
sure.
I thought we held our own.
How pleased were you, Tim, with the point?
It's the age-old quote, isn't it? There are 0-0 draws and there are 0-0 draws. That was a 0-0 draw. To be fair, the stream that I was watching wasn't brilliant, and I did close my eyes several times. But you've got to say, for us to go undefeated against City so far, not conceding a goal, yes, we rode our luck. There's no doubt about that. But we had our own chances. We could have nicked it. But as a team performance, for everyone on the pitch, the effort, the pressing, Wilf as well, all of them. I mean, I'm delighted. And any time you see, and what showed it to me was after the game, just how teasy, shall I say, the Man City players were getting, because they weren't getting it all their own way. They weren't getting the decisions, they weren't getting the goals. Grealish being a spoiled brat, that showed the level of performance that we put in.
Yeah. I suppose it's not his fault he's a £100 million player, but have you finished coughing yet, Nick?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's two things I wanted to pick up from on the game, or on that evening. And Joel, you're not going to really be able to assist us on this because obviously you weren't in the stadium that night. But the first one was the atmosphere, and the second one was the Pep Guardiola's comments about the pitch. Now, he got slated about it, something about he didn't like the grass or the way. But I've got to tell you, the way we played was amazing. A difficult stadium with the grass not perfect. Well, he did get slated across social media, across the press for that statement. But you know what? I had a better look at it yesterday during the Everton game. He's got a point. I've seen Selhurst Park much better than that at this stage of the season. Please don't come back at me and say, well, it is February/March and we're coming out of winter, because we haven't had a bad winter. We've had a mild winter. So it's nothing to do that. There is something not right with the Selhurst Park pitch. Anybody got any thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Nick. I didn't notice it so much in the stadium, and I didn't notice it in the ground yesterday. I mean, when Pep Guardiola made these comments after the City game, I just laughed at him because I thought, you've made yourself look a right twat with that comment, frankly. But you're right, he has got a point. Because when I watched some of the game back, I haven't watched the whole game back live, but I fast-forwarded through bits and watched the goals and all the rest of it. And with the sun on, with the camera from the Arthur Way looking onto the pitch, it looks awful. It looks really bad at the moment. And it's nowhere near as bad, of course, as some of those pitches we talked about last week with Steve Coppell, in the 80s, where it's just a mud bath from October onwards. But it's pretty poor in places, and I don't know why, because we should have top groundsmen, we should have top facilities in order to play on. Of course, it's the same for both sides, but you're right that Pep Guardiola has a point about our pitch. It is not perfect. In fact, it's not very good at all.
Jill?
Did you name dropping in, Ian?
Always, mate.
It's winter. What does he expect? I mean, it's been raining, it's cold, not had loads of sunshine. It is what it is. It's an open piece of ground. I'll just listen. They need something. He couldn't beat us through effort. They couldn't beat us, through skill. They've not been at a very good time against us for this season. I just think that he's just pulled up something that's he's starting to get a little bit Mourinho, saying weird shit.
Yeah,
I just think, really, just going on about the grass. Listen, no one rucks about it down Hackney Marshes. Everyone knows it's crap. Do you know what I mean? I can't remember. But it doesn't matter. I can't remember anybody. Premier League's been going since 1993. We've been there from 2004, right? I can't remember ever a player in our 15 seasons in our 4 different tenures in the Premier League of anybody ever coming up and going, yeah, that pitch was crap. Do you know what I mean? It's just
I like Lee
can have a
Lockwood's.
little
I like
moan.
Joe, I like Lee Lockwood's comment. He says the Amex is the best pitch due to the millions of pounds worth of shite that they put on it fortnightly. Nice one, Lee. We love that. Keep it coming.
Tim,
the best bit for me about the Man City game, which I should have said right at the top of the show, was sitting next to the one and only Lucy Usher. Lucy was very excited about the game. And she was sitting next to me for the whole of the 90 minutes or 95 minutes. And Lucy, it was a pleasure to watch the game with you. And if you ever want to come back to Selhurst and sit alongside us, you'll be very welcome. She was brilliant value and loved every minute of it and kicks every ball like most of us do. So
I'm telling you
that was the highlight for me.
Number 1, lovely lady. Number 2, cracking producer. Number 3, proper Palace fan. Love you, Luke. Tim, I was going to talk to you about just finishing up on the pitch. There was something that I saw yesterday, and of course they do it at every home game. The Palace players have been warming up in front of me in Block B, right in the corner between the after and the homestand, the bottom corner of the homestand. Now that part of the pitch was the worst part of the pitch from what I could see on the live and on the TV. Yeah, you'd think they'd move up halfway along the pitch or so to the halfway line or over to the other side to the old stand to do the warming up. It's all the heading drills with the defence. It's all the one-touch football. It's all done in that corner, which is the barest part of the stadium. Makes sense, wouldn't it?
Kind of, but I think you're all missing the main point as to why the pitch is looking like it is. This is the first season in probably, 5, where they've actually played football on the pitch. So, I'm with Joel, to be fair. The pitch, it doesn't look perfect, but not every club has the money that clubs like City and Liverpool and United could spend on a pitch, do what they need to do. It's excuses. It's the same for both teams. Get on with it. Sorry.
The other thing I wanted to touch on about Monday night's game in particular, and I know we're going to come on to yesterday, and we will do, I promise you. I wanted to touch on the supporters. Okay, now, you hear this garbage normally about different stadiums under the lights. We've even heard it referred to at Selhurst Park about how good Selhurst Park is under the lights. My God, it is. It really is special. Selhurst Park, it's a special environment. It's a special stadium to us all. But under the lights on Monday night, it was rocking, wasn't it, Ian?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and obviously we kicked off with the light show, which they did it for the Stoke Cup game, but it was just a little bit different. I don't know. You said I thought that at the time, but when you look back on it, it wasn't so bad. Apart from the choice of music, don't get me started on that. I don't know who chooses it, but it's utter crap. But no, the atmosphere's always been good at Selhurst under the lights, and when we're playing well and we're getting the kind of result that exceeds expectations, then it's going to be extra special. And look, we had probably our lowest possession in any league game, just 26% against City. They dominated the game. They should have won it. They will be kicking themselves for not winning that game. And Guaita, we've already touched on it. He had a fantastic game for us. He was our man of the match. And probably the reason why they didn't score. We dug very deep, defended with our lives, and got a point that was richly deserved last Monday night.
I mean, the actual point didn't actually make an awful lot of difference, Joel, did it, to us? We didn't need the point for safety or anything like that. But isn't it just lovely to get one over with one of the big boys like that?
No, I disagree. Obviously, everyone knew I was sitting there watching it. I was Palace. There was another geezer sitting next to me who was born in South Norwood, so he wanted Palace to win. But I had City to me left, Man United to me right, Scousers in the corner. Everyone wanted, apart from this fella, Julian, who was sitting next to me, to my left, everyone wanted Palace to win. But that what you're saying about that 1 point, it put us above Brighton. Like quite literally 1 point above. We were level, moody goal differences, but the fact is, like Ian said earlier when we were talking about it, it's the goal difference is 11 in our favour, but also so that's worth a point. But also we are now that single point ahead. Tim?
I completely agree with Joe. I know it's only a point, but it's confidence. It's also a massive point. You look at the club going into the semi-final now of the FA Cup, win at City, draw against City, unlucky against Chelsea. It's all confidence. It all adds to the momentum that Vieira is building, the players' enjoyment. If you saw Wilf's interview after the game yesterday, what it all means is all little bits that add up and build, and he starts getting momentum. People start getting confidence. Definitely.
Sorry, boys, I was on mute. My apologies. It was a cracking night. Good point, and I think we're going to spend the rest of the show celebrating yesterday. So we'll move on to our quarter-final against. Go on, Joe.
Just really quickly, I was under the illusion that over the last sort of 5-6 years that we've done all right against City, but we either get 4 or 5 by them or draw 0-0. We've only had a couple of decent results against them. Well, no, but we've beat them twice. We've only beaten them twice, 2-0, 3-2.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is we usually get pumped by them, and I think that. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that and the last time they lost at the Etihad was against us. And I know all the stats, but what I'm saying is I think Guardiola has got used to just humping us all the time with the odd nosebleed, a bit like what we used to do with Liverpool. Generally, we had that little run against them for a couple of years, and then we're thinking, yeah, sweet. We had the 3-3 and we destroyed their dreams, and then we went up there and we pissed on Gerrard's parade. But then after that, then they come to Selhurst and beat us 7-0. Yeah, it's so typically Palace that we can mix it with the big boys, but when we capitulate badly. But like I say, that single point for me was really, really important. And I'm just looking just quickly because I know we haven't been into the comments that much, but Gareth Thorndale just said, "I love seeing Wilf play with a smile on his face again." And that has to be down to Vieira, because we've discussed many times now how Wilf was playing with a scowl and he looked to be at odds with his teammates a lot of the time, especially Joel Ward, and the frustration of whatever. And now I think a better phrases to use, but Wilf's been like a rucksack, the club has been a rucksack for Wilf, and he's literally carried us, I think, for a good few years. And now we've got Elise who's got the skills and the touch, and Eze has got the skills and the touch, and we've got other players now joining in and raising their game. Average Joes raising their game, and I think it's really, really lovely. Get a great point, Gareth. Really nice to see Will smiling again.
Ian, I'm coming on to Everton right now, but the most exciting thing for me about yesterday was the starting of one every Eze.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really surprised to see him start. I was delighted to see him start. And it was a bold move by Patrick Vieira to start him, because we had 2 attacking midfield players in Eze and Gallagher, and just Kute holding. And that nearly undid for us yesterday. Think about the first 15 minutes yesterday, and how much Everton were on top, how many chances they created. And I'm thinking, had we had 2 defensive midfielders playing, if it had been Hughes and Kute, or Hughes and Milivojevic, or any 2 of them, then Everton wouldn't have got in behind us as much as they did. But the benefit to that is that we looked more threatening going forward. So we rode our luck a bit in the first 15 minutes yesterday. We really did. The interviews of and all the analysis on all the TV channels have talked about this. That Everton should have scored in that first 15 minutes. The fact is they didn't, and we rode our luck again a little bit. That touch that Guy made, that he had to really stretch for, where Richarlison was rolling about in agony, play acting like he normally does. That was heart in the mouth job, wasn't it, really, for most of us in the stadium?
And it was. And he's horrible, he's another one. He's horrible.
Oh, isn't he? Yeah.
You'd want him in your squad, but you also want, as he's not in your squad, you want to get on the pitch and punch him. Guaita, Ward, Milivojevic, Tompkins, Hughes, that's the subs. I can't even see the names on on the screen. Can anybody else see that?
What, the starting 11?
Butland.
Yeah, I can. I'll read it out. Butland in goal, of course. He's our cup goalkeeper. Klein, Anderson, Gee, Mitchell, Gallagher, and Kuse. I'm not sure about this way there's the setup on there. Elise, Eze, Zaha, and Mateta up top. But look at that bench again. You know, that is a bench and a half, isn't it? You know, we haven't even got Maka there. You know, there's just such. I think the thing about our bench now, and this was borne out at Wolves away, you know, City at home, is we've got quality to come off the bench that are equally as good as the players they're replacing. And that just gives us fresh legs, fresh impetus. And that's what squads are for, aren't they? And we've never had the strength in depth.
That subs bench, and you're right to raise it, that subs bench, would grace, added obviously another, because there's 8 names there, add another 3 players, and that would hold its own in the Premier League anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so, where was I going to go on to? Oh, I'll tell you, Tim, Eze, when we scored I can't remember which goal it was.
Second goal.
The second goal. Did you see Eze's celebration?
Yeah.
Yes. The fist bump. How chuffed was he? He's glad to be back involved again, isn't he?
I think that's, look, we came back from New Zealand. It's not been easy, but going to the games like yesterday, especially having supported Palace all my life, having Wendy there as well, taking some great photos. But the most heartening thing of all is seeing the players. Like when Mateta scored, his reaction with the crowd. Like I said, Eze with the other goals, Wilf, Connor. The reaction between the players, how much it means to them and how much they obviously know it means to us and how much they want to do it for us. There aren't many other clubs like that in the country. And getting back to Selhurst Park, I remember when I got home, I watched it on ITV on demand, and you had Cole doing the comment or doing the punditry. And he was saying about Selhurst Park, he used to hate coming down to play here. He said it's one of the worst pitches or worst grounds as an away player because the crowd's all on top of you, because it's a great atmosphere. And that's what us, and the number of places I've read and talking about South London's going to take over Wembley. Do they know what's in store for them? It's all part of it. But getting back to your point, yeah, I mean, Eze, the way he celebrated, and I'm so pleased to see him start. And yes, he was rusty for the first 20 minutes or so. But even after that, look how much impact he had on the game. Yes, I know we were leading. But look, that kind of attacking play. And the other thing I would say that just shows the difference, under Roy, no offence to Roy, we would have gone 1-0 up and then sat back and tried to hold on. How good was it to see a Palace team take the lead, but not stop, but keep going, trying to get another goal?
Jill?
Yeah, I think there was 2 points. I think yesterday was I wouldn't say it was a free hit, but it was a free hit. I mean, we've sort of mixed results against Everton, but I think the setup was just it looked to me with that team was really attacking intent, of what we've been begging for years, and now we finally got all of our players fit, and it just seemed to connect. Listen, Everton are no mugs. They've got some really, really good players individually. I think they're playing as individuals this year, which is why I think, there's obviously something going on behind the scenes, and they look like they're being individuals. Although Richarlison, for me, has always played like an individual anyway. But getting back to what you said, we was going on about earlier, and you touched on Tim, and what I said earlier was, I do think that there's no disconnect behind the scenes. We were coming out and we were seeing little groups of players, a year, 2 years ago. It just seemed a little bit groupy. Now it seems like a big group. It seems like there's the bond back with the crowd has come back very quickly. There's players that were getting, Wilf was getting slaughtered, and rightly so, by a fair amount of people. And I think what he's done is he's obviously got his head down. He's been, he's surrounded by. I think he's surrounded by like-minded players. I really think that helps. So, I think as a club now, we look more as a club. The only thing that we haven't got back, which is a shame, would just be a little bit more what we used to have with the board. I know Mr. Texter likes to go onto social media and spend a little bit of money and make people's lives happier, and which is all fantastic. But I still would like to go, I would say, back to the early days of Parish when he came out and talked to the fans and was more, publicly involved. But everything seems to be going good for us at the moment. We are a team on the up, right away from the bottom to the very top, and long may it continue.
I mean, as we're a team on the up, boys, I want to talk about a team on the way down, which is Everton. Okay, Claire Davis. Nige, put the message back up from Claire, because Claire, I was just about to come onto that right now. Did you all see his post-match interview? Giles, did you see it?
Yeah. Yes. Did he didn't have enough salt? Didn't have enough salt in his tea, did he?
Clearly not. Go on, Tim. You take it away first.
Yeah, I think that's my fault, and I'll hold my hand up and I apologise. Wendy and I were on row 3, just in front of Ian, and I think at half time was Mr. Lampard walked past. I did call out rather loudly, "Is the Palace job still too much of a big job for you, Frank?" And kind of gave me a bit of a dirty look and what it was. But that interview just summed up why I'm so glad he didn't get the job, as it turns out. I mean, we may not be brilliant, but we still beat his lot 4-0. So what does that say about him?
But you're right to raise that, because it's Frank Lampard. He didn't fancy the project. Well, there you go. Have 2 of them and have another 2. That's 4-0. Okay. And Van der Beek. Okay. Van der Beek didn't want to come to the Palace. He decided to stay up north, where his house was. And you could have 2 of those as well, Ian.
Yeah, I think you've got to look at Frank Lampard's career as a whole as a manager. He had a very good Derby side that were on the verge of promotion, and he messed that up. They didn't get promoted. He had a team that of European and world champions, and they were losing games and losing points, and they got rid of him. His CV as a manager is not great, and he's in free fall at Everton. I think you said earlier they've got a team of individuals, that look at the individual component parts they have, and they're all good players, no doubt about that. But they were all over the place yesterday. And the fact that he was saying that, Palace weren't that great. Well, Frank, imagine if we were that great, it would have been 8 or 10.
Absolutely.
Mate, So frankly, no pun intended, but we were much better than them. We were much better than them.
It was a joy to watch. I mean, Crystal Palace's boss Patrick Vieira says the club is enjoying an exciting period after booking their place in the FA Cup semi-final. Oh, right. Something's just come to mind, guys, in case you're not aware of what I'm about to tell you. Okay, on the day of the semi-final, on that weekend, ladies and gentlemen out in Facebook land, 71 of you listening, Victoria is closed. Victoria train station that weekend.
Oh, great.
Also, you think that's bad? Well, there is not any shut trains coming from the northwest down to Euston that weekend at all. Euston is closed. Bear in mind, Man United are playing Liverpool. Okay, it could only happen in England. Okay, Euston is shut and Victoria is shut for the entirety of the weekend. So please make your travel arrangements away from Victoria Station, wherever you are coming in the country for that game. First half goals from Mark Guéhi, Jean-Philippe Mateta put them in full control before Wilfred Zaha and Will Hughes secured the win. As the hosts' attacking purpose overpowered a poor Toffee side. Going to Wembley's fantastic, Vieira told ITV after the game. You can hear the atmosphere in the stadium. The fans, this is what they wanted, and we wanted to give it to them. They've been fantastic in getting behind the team. It's just a step forward. There is a long way to go. He wants more than this. He wants more than just a semi-final in the FA Cup. He wants more than 11th place finish in the Premier League. I'm telling you, this guy is hungry, and I want him to stay with us. This is an exciting period for us, and we will enjoy it, and we will enjoy today. Palace will meet Chelsea, who beat Middlesbrough on Saturday, for a place in the final. Such a heavy defeat for Everton looked unlikely as they made a ferocious start, almost taking the lead inside the first minute through Michael Keane, and before Richarlison tangled with Guehi, and he was ruled to be offside. Vieira admitted it. His side were under pressure from the start, but he said not conceding early on was a key to the result, and I think he's right. Anybody want to talk me through the goals?
Yeah, I want to talk about the second goal. No, let's talk about the first goal first, because I think let's do it in order. Right, okay. We don't score from corners, do we? No, we're rubbish at set pieces.
And before you carry on, I actually said to Richard, standing to my right, "Oh, this would be a waste of time. We never.
Yeah, we're rubbish
We
at
never
corners.
effing score off corners," is what I said. Carry on.
But the first corner, what a great corner! He nearly scored direct from the corner, didn't he? It was going right under the bar. Pickford was alive to it. The second one, and Mark Gee gets his head on it. He was unchallenged. Everton didn't defend it well, and it's lovely to see us score from a corner. That's all I want to say about that first goal, because it was just simply brilliant to see us score from a corner. The second goal was the pick of the bunch for me. The way Wilf took the ball and flicked it wide to Eze, who then passed the ball through to Wilf down the left-hand side. He had acres of space. He pulled it back, and Mateta's finish. Well, guys, you've heard me on this show months ago, moaning about Mateta, saying, how does Mateta get in the team ahead of Edouard or Benteke? I'm going to eat my words. I think I know why now, because that was one hell of a finish from Mateta. It really was a top-class finish. He worked so hard as well down the channels. He worked hard defensively. He worked hard without the ball as well as with the ball. And I think he had a great game again. So I think he's justifying his selection up top, Mateta, for me, without any shadow of doubt. Joe.
And another brutal assault on a defenceless corner flag. Joe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just really quickly, that goal was almost exactly the same goal that beat Watford. Remember when we were 1-0 down in the 89th minute? And Maka scored. I'm not joking. Exactly the same, without the step overs from Wilf, cut back, Maka, Bosch, 2-1. Tim.
It's almost, I'm like Ian. I was never a big fan of Mateta, but I've got to say, the last few games, the effort he puts in, and obviously how much it means to him. And at the end of the day, he's like Lineker. I mean, Lineker did nothing outside of the penalty area.
Oh, no, he's better than Lineker. No.
Well, yeah.
I'm not having that.
But Mateta is now scoring goals regularly. I know it's the cup, but we've been after a player who can score repeatedly. So no, it's brilliant, well-worked goal. Even had Wembley next to me singing the songs, which was amazing to hear. But no, brilliant goal.
Wouldn't it be great? Mateta's in the room. There ain't no one better than Jean-Philippe Mateta.
Wouldn't it be? Yeah. I mean, Daniel just raised a great point. The next assault, we hope, will be a Wembley corner flag, and I hope he beats the crap out of it, because that means we've scored against the Blues.
But, and he's also got really quick feet for a big guy, isn't he? You know, I think they talked about that on Match of the Day. But you know, he's so skillful as well, and you don't get that with a big guy often. You know,
well, I think also he's the type of player who needs to be loved by the manager. It seems to me he's the kind of player that needs to know that people believe in him, and I think he got that with Vieira, which is getting the performances that he's now doing, and this also means that the crowd is kind of believing in him. And I'm hopeful that it's just going to go from print.
Lucy says, I love watching him do that Scooby-Doo run shimmy. What's she on about? Scooby-Doo run. What's that? Is that a technical
Listen,
term?
if you don't realise that she is mad by now, mate, you don't understand.
Having said all this about him, it should have been 3-0 on the strike half time, shouldn't it? Yeah. He was sped through and he had a great chance, and one of their lads, got a foot in and, got the ball away. But that was a massive chance, a big chance for 3-0.
Jill?
Yeah, the Irish defender. I was the more I watched that, the more I'm willing him as he cuts through, smack it on your left foot, hit it first time. But yeah, he was cut out. But I just think as well that he's ag, and I think the other reason as well is having a just having someone to look up to, like Vieira. you just can't beat his experience about what he's done. I mean, I was talking to a mate of mine a few weeks ago. He's an Arsenal fan, and he said the greatest thing that Vieira could have probably done, and I don't know whether he did do it, and there's just a news blackout on here. But if I'd have turned up at Palace, I'd have turned up to meet the whole team wearing my World Cup winners medal around my neck, and just gone, I have been there, I have seen it, and I have done it, and I will give you my experience. I don't think you can have, Pardew scored a winner in a semi-final and played in a losing final, and we haven't had many managers that can go on and just say, I've been there, seen it, and done it. You just can't argue with that man. Was he one of the Invincibles? And do you know what I mean? He really has been there, seen it, and done it. So
yeah,
I do think that having a French speaker as well sometimes is going to help on the training grounds with at least a couple of our players. And I know that Wilf says he can't speak French, but he does understand it, so he can have a little mess about. And I imagine he speaks better Pidgin Franglais than I do. But yeah, I just think that Mateta is a confidence player, and we should have Well, I don't know, Monsieur. I don't think that. I think that we should have really took a little bit more notice of that goal that Mateta scored last year against Brighton, because there aren't many people that can run near post and then literally have the whereabouts and to backflip that. To score that winner there again, I just, for me, become almost a hero in that instant. And I think now he's fully signed up and committed to the cause. I think we are seeing a player that is fighting for his place rather than someone just over here on loan and being rotated around four strikers, 3 or 4 average Joes, and he obviously thinks he's better than them and weren't getting a lot of chances. So.
Right, we'll take a break on the game there. We'll come back to the second half in a second. I want to clear something up. Okay, Sean Axtell in the chat is talking about, Wilf and his English, seeing his post-match interview yesterday. I think he struggled with a bit of English as well. Talking about he's asking about another thing. Can Chelsea fans get a ticket for Wembley? What's the situation going in Chelsea? Right, let's clear a couple of things up. If any of you out there are thinking for 1 minute that either A, the government, B, the FA, Chelsea won't let it happen either. If you think that we're going to have half an empty stadium, you're deluded. I actually put a thread out on a couple of social. I actually went on Homesale Online tonight, Jill, and actually put a thread on Homesale Online. Give us your thoughts on songs to an empty stadium for the away. Shall we sing a song for you, etc., etc., etc. Okay. There is no way, on God's, I'm going to say this live on air. There is no way that we will be in that stadium on our own. And if any Palace fan that I'm aware of, I know of, or I hear of, I will call you out publicly. Okay. If I find out you are selling a ticket or your ticket or anybody else's ticket to a Chelsea fan, okay, I will call you out publicly on air. Okay, I will name and shame you are not associated with Crystal Palace Football Club. So, not to your question, Sean, it will be resolved before that. Even tonight on Sky, they're talking about a potential resolution to the. There's too much revenue involved in it. There's too much money generated from those two semi-finals at Wembley. You don't think they're going to literally let one team have half the stadium and the other team have an empty stadium? It ain't going to happen, mate. So it will be resolved. I'm telling you now, Chelsea. I mean, I'm quite happy to make myself like a right prat on that weekend because Chelsea will be at Wembley that day. But please do not sell them to Chelsea fans in the Palace end.
I can't believe anyone would, Nick, to be honest with you. There might be Chelsea fans. The rumour was yesterday Chelsea fans will be trying to buy Palace memberships to get tickets. But I'll tell you what I would do if I was Steve Parrish. I'd say, right, anyone that buys a membership after the 20th of March, They're not eligible. Simple as that. Anyone membership before that, that's
I agree.
different.
I agree.
One thing I think we do need to clear up as well, Nick, is I agree with everything you said, by the way, about the Chelsea supporters. I think they will be in the stadium for a full Wembley over Easter weekend. But there's been a lot of talk on social media since the game yesterday about whether Conor Gallagher plays against his parent club in the semi-final. Lee Lockwood says, guys, can you confirm whether Conor can play? All the confusion. My understanding is that it's a season-long loan. Then no written request is needed as long as they weren't cup-tied. Well, that's what I've heard as well, Lee. So players on temporary short-term loans are required to receive written permission from their parent club to play in an FA Cup tie, which the FA must receive a copy of as well. Players who are on season-long loans do not require this written permission from their parent club. The rules of the FA Cup did not explicitly say whether players are able to play against their parent clubs. However, for players on short-term loans, they're required to receive permission from the parent club. Short-term loan is usually 3 to 6 months.
Hold on.
These loans are usually done in the winter transfer season. So here, the final bit here, this is for players who are on season-long loans, they do not require any written permission from the parent club. As such, I believe that they're able to play in the FA Cup as well as against their parent club, unless they're cup-tied. So unless they played for Chelsea, and someone's saying, sorry, Ian, you're wrong. So,
Okay, I am going to stop you in full flight because that person that's saying that you're wrong, Nigel Croucher is producing the show this evening. Nigel, come on the show, please, right now, and bring with you your paragraph 2, subsection V or whatever it was, and please bring it and read it directly from the FA's rules. Ian, I'm sorry to say, mate, that's wrong. He is not eligible. I repeat,
okay.
He is ineligible to play. He will not play. Even if we had Chelsea's permission, it's nothing to do with Chelsea. It's actually to do with FA rules. Nigel, are you there? He's obviously not coming in. He's obviously not listening to the show. Go on, Joe. Oh, here we go.
Sorry, Tim, you can come in.
I'm just looking for me bits.
Okay, go on, Joe. While he's looking for his bits, what are you going to say, mate? Joe.
Nigel, go on.
No, I'm looking for subsection, whatever it was. I'll come back to you in a minute.
Joe, come on.
Okay, just really quickly then. Paul Holden's turned around and said, if Gallagher can't play against Chelsea, we'd love him to do a John Terry celebration at full time if we beat them in the full Palace kit. This could confirm things in the summer. Well, like I said, I do believe he'll be a Palace player next year. I really do. Tim.
Who? Connor. Joe?
Yeah.
You talking about Connor?
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
Really? Well, that's a bold statement, isn't it? If ever, really good.
Anyway, so guys, if I got that wrong,
said it about
apologies,
4 times.
Go on, Nigel.
Tim.
Hang on.
You've really put him on the spot. Let's come back to him. Let's talk about something else.
Okay, Tim, you wanted to make a point.
No, it was just on my way home on the train tonight, there was a TalkSport video that came up on Facebook, and it was Simon Jordan and the other bloke. And they were talking about Conor Gallagher, and they were saying that he is not eligible to play for Palace in the semi-final against Chelsea. But they didn't go into details, so yeah, I don't know.
Nigel?
Right, I have got the rules, all 34 pages of the FA Challenge Cup 21-22 revised. Section 15, provisions concerning players. Paragraph J, temporary loan transfers. Subsection 4, the association will not give permission for a player on loan or work experience to play against the lending club.
Thank you,
That
Nigel.
is it.
And
But if Chelsea were Welsh, he could play.
But they're not.
Yeah, exactly. But you never know; they might be bought out by a sort of a Welshman within the next week.
Well, guys, I can only apologise. I don't know where I got all the bullshit from that I read out earlier, but I did tweet it because maybe it was just wishful thinking. But look, I don't think we need to get too hung up about this. You know, Conor Gallagher's a great player, but he's one player. You know, he might. Other players might get injured between now and then. You know, would Eze have played yesterday if Jeffrey Schlupp wasn't suspended? Probably not. So we've got players that can come in and do a job, and I think we need to look past Conor Gallagher for this semi-final. Then, if that's the case, and just move on and prepare the best we can and beat them anyway.
What we're doing, Ian, what's happening with Conor Gallagher? We're actually resting him for the final.
That's a really good shout. Yeah,
we're resting him for that. So thank you, Nige. Thank you for joining us.
Hang on, just to sort of, it was in the League Cup years ago. Chelsea had somebody out on loan at Derby County, but the rules of the League Cup are different to the FA Cup. Correct. And he was able to play for Derby against Chelsea in the League Cup.
Yeah. So
yeah, good job. I should go.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Nigel. There was an absolute mountain of stuff that's just come through, saying if only they were Welsh, and then Martin Nash, Chris Brandrick, Dave Bell, amongst others, just pipes up that they're Russian. And Ryan Hinton, the answer to your question, if only they were Welsh, he said, if your uncle was your aunt. So I think you know where that goes. But yeah, and then obviously there's some others in here saying in the chat saying that well, he can play in the final. So I don't think we need to be that frightened.
The Campbell once said on live on ITV in the morning this morning, if your mother had wheels, she'd be a bike. Anyway, we'll move on.
Yeah, your grandma.
No, good grandma. So Zaha no longer the only star at Palace. Now, we alluded to this earlier on, guys. There was a time when Palace needed Zaha to shine if they were to get a result. But this was another great example of Patrick Vieira's side now having a plentiful route to victory. The Ivorian played his part with an assist and a late goal, but there was also so much creativity on show in the final third from Eze and others who had recently, as they returned from a long-term injury. Conor Gallagher put in another superb performance, dictating play against Everton, Everton side with no ideas in response. Whoever meets Palace at Wembley, obviously it's now Chelsea, will face a tough task. And we were just talking about it earlier, guys. What a squad of players we got. And Ian, you alluded to, we still got people like Jimmy Mack to come back. Jimmy Mack can slot into that role. Quite
absolutely.
Happy.
Yeah, of course he can. And Schluppy as well, so there's plenty of players that can play there, to be honest with you.
Look, we'll be going over an hour. Boys, very quickly, are you pleased with the draw or would you prefer play City or Liverpool?
Best of a bad lot.
I'm happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Conor Gallagher thing aside, yeah, that's the only thing about Chelsea is the Conor thing. We can't play. We've done that one now. So I think out of the three clubs, I think we're better off playing Chelsea than we are Liverpool or City.
The thing is that at the end of the day, when I look at it, is what a day out it's going to be. I mean, if you'd said to me 6 months ago, we're back living in England and going to watch Palace in an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley, I would have laughed at you. So I don't really mind. Obviously I want to win, but the day out, it's going to be an amazing experience.
Of course it is, and they've got the best four teams in the semi-finals as far as I'm concerned.
Top four teams in England in the semi-finals, yeah.
Yeah.
I just had where is it? I just saw. So Robert Harmon makes a valid point, and he just spins our moaning really onto it. He said, if we had loaned a player to Chelsea, would we want that player playing against us? And obviously we wouldn't. So there it is. Turn it, 180.
Yeah. Good shout.
And we come to the answer. Exactly. Yeah, it was Mr. Harmon. So, Chris Brandrick said, sorry, hang on a second. Chris Brandrick said, yeah, give me Chelsea all day long. And Rob Cranfield wants City in the final. And again, as we were just saying, the best of a bad bunch, or really, I think Chelsea are the worst of a good bunch of that last three. So, and to be honest with you, most cup finals are generally, you've got at least one or two generally in the last four. So, and then Kathy Thompson says definitely a London club in the final. So,
exactly.
London's going to get represented, whether it's either us or Chelsea will be in the final, won't they? So, it's a point well made.
And before I hand over to Ian, which I'm about to do, just remember everybody that every other single football fan in the UK will be back in Crystal Palace because they don't want the other scum. You know,
But, yeah.
Apart from
Maybe
Chelsea,
with the
apart
exception-
from Brighton.
Yeah, with the exception of Brighton fans, probably, and Millwall and Charlton. And,
Four
I
fans,
think
then.
I've just seen on our Twitter handle, Matt Woosnam of The Athletic replied to me, and he says that Gallagher is ineligible to face his parent club. So you've heard it there from The Athletic correspondent, Matt Woosnam. So I was going to make another point then, and the comment I was going to comment on's gone away from me. Where's it gone? Oh, don't worry.
No worries.
It'll come back. It's a senior moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, out in Facebook land, there are hundreds of comments in there that I haven't had a chance to respond to. Normally, I'll respond to some of them as we're talking, but it's been a busy show, been a busy hour.
I've remembered it.
What?
Can I come in again? I've remembered it.
Go on.
Someone said that Palace are 8-1 to win the cup. There's only 4 teams in it. Get on it, 8-1. After the third round, I think even before the third round, I only got 18s myself. 8-1 outsiders, even now. That's generous, I think. Yeah.
When the fun stops, ladies and gentlemen, stop. Okay.
Yeah.
And the fun's just stopped for us this evening, I think. God, am I getting good at it? Am I getting the segues are just oozing out of Phil Pot tonight? I'm so sorry. Listen, everybody out in Facebook land, it's been an absolute pleasure to join you on and celebrate what has been a great week for Crystal Palace, their players, their fans. Oh, by the way, there is a Tifo collection because we are going for another Wembley full display. And I actually fully support them because it adds to the atmosphere. It makes us look good around the planet. Okay, around the planet. So jump on it, give them a hand. Okay, drop them a $5 if you want to get involved in it. But there is going to be a full display at Wembley for the semi-final, and you can bet your life if we were lucky enough to beat Chelsea, there'd be an even better one for the final. So get on it, get behind them, and support the lads. If you are going to Wembley that day, make sure you sort out your travel arrangements. I'll repeat that Euston and Victoria are both closed that weekend. And I'm sure there's going to be lots more disruption because it's an Easter weekend. Boys, Tim, Jill, Ian, thank you, guys. I'm sorry that John didn't show up. On behalf of myself and everybody at Red and Blue Review, and as you know, there's loads of them behind the scenes, thank you all very much for joining us on this Monday evening. We're going to take a 2-week break here because it's the international week. So, and our game is on the Monday night after that weekend. So we probably won't be back. We might do a midweek show, I suppose, after the Arsenal game. I think a lot of that depends on the result. But we're going to take a couple of weeks off now, spend a bit of time with our loved ones, give everybody a good squeeze, and you never know, enjoy a bit of life as we're allowed out. Enjoy the sunshine. On behalf of myself, Nick, and that lot there, you take good care. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night, all.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everyone.